Welcome back to Power Lunch. I'm Brian Sullivan. In one market in San Francisco, let's talk about the IPO market, or maybe the lack of IPO market. Yeah, we're starting to see a little movement on the smaller end, but have the Blue Aprons and the Snaps of the world hurt technology IPO? Cheryl Cheng is a partner with venture capital firm BRV, and she joins us now. Cheryl, thank you.
Hi.
Blue Apron, has that provided a cooling off of the IPO market at all?
It definitely has given people some pause, but I think that people also need to understand that Blue Apron is a very specific type of company that is not reflective of most technology companies. Blue Apron is really a service that is enabled by technology. It's not necessarily a tech company.
Well, what's happened to the IPO market? It's starting to pick up a little bit, the pipeline, but let's be clear. You go back a few years, we're way down. Is it because the market doesn't trust IPOs? Is it because there's no good companies? Is it because we don't need the public markets for capital anymore?
I think there's a little bit of all of that. In terms of trust, I think that's the least of all the three factors. I think that there have been strong performing IPOs. They may not have been the blockbusters that we would have expected from Snap or Blue Apron that were consumer technologies, but they've performed well. And most of the IPOs from 2016 and even this year are trading above their IPO price. They're just not in the consumer space. So I don't think trust is the factor. I do think that the requirements for an IPO have changed over the last several years, not just this year, where the street is rewarding profitability over growth even. And so the street expects companies to be profitable or very close to profitable when they go public. So the unit economics of the business become very important.
Then why do we talk so much about an Uber, which is losing billions, going public? We still do talk about these unicorns, which are massive in the private market, Cheryl, but yet don't have a whiff of profitability.
They don't, and it's going to be a race against scale, right? So if you are big enough, then you may be profitable. And even for Uber, there are some cities in which Uber is profitable, and there are some cities in which Uber is not profitable. So it's not that the business model can't be profitable for Uber or for any of these big unicorns. It's just, are they overall profitable? And I think that's where the high beta comes in for some of these IPOs, is if the street doesn't believe that they can become profitable in the long run with the scale that they think they can achieve, they'll be punished for that.
Consumer-facing companies tend to be sexier. They get more media attention, right? Because we know what they are. We know what Facebook is. We can see it. We can look at it.
And you as a consumer
Uber,
use it.
I get in a car. I know what it is. Is all the real money, though, going to be made in the next couple of years on the unsexy stuff, the guts, the software we don't see?
Right, as a consumer.
Is that where the hot spot is right now?
I think so. I do think so, because I think that there's so much data that enterprises are now having to ingest, and you need technology systems to be able to address them. So enterprises will always spend money on technology, and they'll spend it in a very calculated way where CIOs and CTOs know what they're going to spend, and they can actually move the needle on their businesses. So you're right, the enterprise software companies, they're not sexy. Consumers
making money is sexy.
But making money is sexy.
And is that where the money is going to be made, you think?
I think so.
What else is hot right now?
I think right now we are in an inflection point for technology platforms. Consumer platforms are completely calcified with Apple, Google, Facebook. And so it's really difficult for a young startup to break into those areas. That's why you see so much.
Are they too big?
What do you mean?
Like, are they too big? Do they block people from entering the market?
Yes, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard if you're a young mobile app that's consumer-facing to break through all the noise and all the clutter to take share from an Instagram or a Facebook or a Google. They're not too big from the standpoint that they'll never fail.
Yeah.
You'll always see that, but you need a platform shift. The first platform shift we saw about 8 years ago was a smartphone. What's going to be the next one? Is it VR? Is it something else?
I guess
and we'll find out.
We will find out. Cheryl Cheng, BRV Ventures, thank you very much.
Sure.